thing about the team is basically, man, it's a lot of coaching. The standard is there, you know, but it just can't be talked about. You know, you got to come in every day, and you got to win the day. You know, you can't try to come in and be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You know, and I think Pete is doing a very good job. You know what I'm saying, instilling that in us every day. You know what I'm saying, and everyone is hearing it, not just the vets, but the young guys, the coaching staff, everyone in the building. You know what I'm saying? We take it one day at a time, and it's just like a football game, man. You got to take it one play at a time, or you get to be looking too far ahead or worried about the last play, and you can't focus on what's in front of you. And that's what we try to do every day we come in the building.
So talk about there being a lot of culture here. What do you believe you are trying to add to this culture? You or Devin or any of the new guys coming in, what do you think is your job to add?
Man, I'm just trying to do my job. You know, when I look at myself in the mirror, man, I definitely see a leader. I definitely see a person. I'm real hard on myself, you know, and I think that adds value to the younger guys and even myself, because if I'm always thinking about being an example and not being the person that you're looking at and using for example, you know, I'ma always be where I need to be and stuff like that. And you know, man, these young ones, these young guys really push me. They really push me, especially at the where I'm at in my career. And I enjoy it, man. And I definitely enjoy the vets. You know, Devin has been a joy, you know, every day. You know, we're competing, we're trying to get each other better. Tommy Eichenberg is doing a great job in our room, and then our coach, man, JG, he brings the juice every day. You know, I feel very, very excited about our room, especially the leader that's in it. You know, even though players win games, coaches put you in position to do what you need to do, and I feel like JG is doing a tremendous job in our room. You know what I'm saying? Especially with it still being a younger group.
You mentioned on Max's podcast that you feel like a young dude, that you got that young energy. What is it that's giving you that young juice?
Oh yeah, I'm still young. I don't, you know, play like that. You know, I tell them all the time. You know, they get to running and we doing our little drills. I get out, you know, and they be like, okay. I'm like, y'all still don't do that. Don't do that, you know. But man, it just, and look at this, man. Look at this facility. Look at Nevada, you know, and I wake up every day. I'm looking at mountains and the sun out, and just feeling good, man. I wouldn't say in my other spots it wasn't, you know, it didn't feel enjoyable to go to work. But when you actually see it, you know, you actually feel it. You come in the building every day, and Pete, 70-something years old, man, and you know what I'm saying, he first one in, last one out. He always pumped, ready to go. Why not match that energy? Who am I to say, man, I'm tired? Pete 70 something. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? And he bring the juice every day. You know, and it's kind of like, okay, like, you know, and it just, you ever, you know what I'm saying, at your desk and you just feel energy and you just look back trying to figure out who that was. You know what I'm saying? You can feel that shit. And it's a great feeling.
Rob, you've worked in the past with Mike Tomlin and Bill Belichick. What similarities, what differences do you see with them and Coach Carroll now a couple of weeks into OTAs?
Yeah, I think every coach have their differences, you know, and I'm not here to compare because they're great coaches in their own lane. You know, Bill's great in his lane, Pete is great in his lane, and Mike T is great in his, and they all been champions. You know, I think the one thing that do make them all the same is they all been there, and they all have held that Lombardi, so they know what it takes and stuff like that. But like I say, man, Pete is in his own lane. Pete is leading in his own way, and with his energy, his desire, his standard, you know what I'm saying, it's like, hey, get on this train. Because if you're not on this train, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna find somebody else to do it, and it just is what it is. And in this league, man, this is a competitive league and stuff like that. And all 32 teams got the same goal, and that's to hold that Lombardi. And if I feel like me personally, if I come here one day and feeling sorry for how hot it is outside or what we have to do today, I'm just cheating the process. Because if I'm not every day in here with the mindset of leading my room, being that leader on the defense, being the green dot, bringing the juice every day to make sure that we at the standard that we need to be at, then I'm just cheating the process. And that's one thing that I harp myself in every day I wake up. You know what I'm saying? Once I hit them doors, I'm like, let's go. You're gonna think like, dang, this motherfucker don't get tired. But I changed once I got to the door.
Patrick was just saying that even though he hadn't coached you before, that it seems like you're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
You kind of know what each other's thinking without talking. What ways have you seen that come across?
It's kind of crazy. It's like growing up in the same household, but in a different generation. But the household didn't change. You know, it's kind of the same. So like when he talked, like I'm just kind of zoned in on him. I spent a lot of time with PG, you know, and stuff like that. You know, we only get a certain amount of time in the building. And shoot, I'm trying to pull up on PG at his house and everything. Like, hey, let's talk a little ball, you know, because we only get so much time in the building. But you know, just knowing how PG came about and his pedigree and his philosophy behind the game, I just know like it's never a dull moment. I can't text him and just or pull up on him or just ask him, man, let's talk ball, because I know, man. I'm telling you, PG the type of guy, he wake up in the morning, he think about football. He can be eating something, he think about football. He can be watching what's it, AFL? He can be watching the play, he just start calling plays. Oh, right here I do this, because he's that locked in, you know, and stuff like that, man. He's a great coach, you know. He's probably even better person, man. And he's a man of integrity, but at the same time, when it comes to this football, he's not cheating the process and stuff like that. And I love just being around that. And like I said, you know, just knowing where he started, you know, I can kind of talk his language. I can feel where he's coming from with certain things. I can kind of, you know, beat him to the punch on certain things, not trying to, but I'm just like, hey, would you like to do this? Or if we see this, I know you called this, but would you like to get into that type stuff? And he said, nah, hold off on it right now. It may be too much. And I'm like, okay. But he know, like, hey, I'm seeing where you're going with it just from us kind of being in the same system and similarities. And he got new obviously he didn't create his own type of schematics around defense, but he's still pulling from them same type of trees, and he's just blending them all together.